I'm going to use VDES. You can use Horizon, whichever you want. That's vdes.ptcollege.edu. And I'm going to use this Horizon HTML access. You can use the client. This one's just quicker and easier, and I have fewer problems with it. Log in with your PTC credentials. Run the desktop. Once you get in, I want you to please log into Blackboard, and I want you to download that Darkside file again. While you do that, I'm going to do some house cleaning here. Once you get in, go to Google, go to Blackboard, and download the Darkside file again. Oops, wrong one. Once you download it, keep your browser open because we're going to need to visit that again and extract it like you did before. So downloads. I'm going to delete some extra stuff I have here. Give me a second.
Hey, how you doing? Wondering what's going on. Hi.
All right, so now we need to get a new file. We've downloaded this Darkside, and I want to put it on PTC's website. Our website is known as StuWeb. So if I go to my Chrome and I do my username, .stuweb.ptcollege.edu, it's going to pull up our internal Apache web server. I've got stuff on mine. You probably don't have anything on yours. If this doesn't work for you immediately, I'll solve it after class. But you will have your username .stuweb.ptcollege.edu. Everybody should have that. I need to get some software to move stuff up there. And I want you to go to a Google search and search for phrases FileZilla, don't press enter yet, portable. A portable application is a program that can run without installing on the C drive or writing to program files. It can run off a USB drive, which is where the name came from. We used to, as hackers, programmers, whatever, put a whole bunch of stuff on a USB flash drive and carry around working apps with us. I need FileZilla Portable because you can't install something on PTC's desktop, but this you're able to install to your U drive. The website Portable Apps is safe. I've been using it for decades. So I know it's clean. I've not come up with anything bad from them. So we're going to download this from Portable Apps. This green button is correct. Ignore the start button. This download from Portable Apps is correct. Download it. Give it a moment. It's coming down. Once it comes down, we're going to run it. If it doesn't come down, run the click. But the site will, after 5 seconds of begging for money, allow you to download it. We're now going to run the CXE file. You either run it from here or run from the folder. It's a really easy install. Just one place you have to pay attention. So pick your favorite language. I'm going to assume English. FileZilla Portable. This talks about what portable is, where you can put it. Next. Here's the important thing right here. You got to know where you're putting it. So you got to write it somewhere you're allowed to write. So I'm going to browse. And you should see your name and then documents. If you don't see your name and then documents, you can also expand this PC and find the U drive and then documents. Either one, it's the same place. It just depends on how the drives are mapped. So your name, documents, or U drive documents, either one. It'll automatically install to a folder called FileZilla Portable. Hit install. When it's done, you can either check on FileZilla Portable or browse to the folder and run it from there. I'm just going to check on Run FileZilla. Okay, so if it says you don't have enough free space, delete something off your documents you don't need. Like delete that zip file we just downloaded, or delete anything else you've downloaded. So you really don't have a lot of space on your U drive. I'll give you guys a moment to do that. Okay, so picking up from when we downloaded and installed FileZilla. To let you know what I did, we deleted all the files that we didn't need for this particular exercise, including the Darkside.zip, and then we made sure we emptied our trash, because Windows doesn't actually free up this space until you empty the trash. So we now ran this, it's installed, and then run FileZilla Portable. I use FileZilla for all of my FTP needs. FTP means File Transfer Protocol. It's how I move stuff around. So when I need to update my website, I use FTP to upload the new HTML or new CSS files. It's been around for a very long time. It's free. It's easy to work with. It's got a great name, FileZilla, win-win-win. It's not the only FTP tool in the world. There are many, 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 many others out there. It's just the one I use the longest. So what we need to do is we need to create a host. Okay, so hit the drop down to open the site manager. And a site like this will pop up. Let's do a new site. Let's call it your name. So like Lee's Stew Egg. So this is our PTC connection. We need to make sure we pick SFTP, Secure File Transfer Protocol. And actually, in reality, it's SSH, which is Secure Shell File Transfer Protocol. It encrypts all the data that moves back and forth. If you don't pick this, A, PTC will reject you, and B, if I'm watching the network using something like Wireshark, I could actually watch the files you're passing up. So you want to encrypt it. You're going to need put the host in there, which will be your name. I forget it now. Hold on a second. That's it. So stuweb.ptcollege.edu. Make sure you spell college right, like I didn't. So it's control.lee.stuweb.ptcollege.edu. The port is 22. So it's your username, not mine. Please don't put control.lee in that host. It's your username. And then we're going to do a normal user. If you want, you can put your username and password here. You could also force it to ask for password. So if somebody happens to hack your box, they need to know your password. It all depends on your level of trust. I'm going to hit OK. It's going to ask me if I want to save passwords again. This is your call. I'm pretty comfortable with PTC's hosting, but if you're not, hit do not save passwords. If you're really worried about your passwords, you can put a master password on this so that even if I come in to look at it, I need to know your original password. So I've saved it. I'm now going to connect to it. The drop, pick. It'll pop up and ask you, are you sure? Because it doesn't know this host key. That's a certificate. The certificate's what allows HTTPS to work. It's PTC, I trust them. So I'm going to hit always trust this host and OK. If everything works correctly, which is always a big if, you will see stuff here on the right. If you get something about username and password invalid or host name invalid, you spelled something wrong in your site. These files are given to you by Linux, which is what this is running on. The only one you're going to care about for this assignment is public HTML. I have several up here that I've used in the past for different ideas. You probably don't have anything. We're going to find our Darkside, which will be in downloads, and you can find that any way you want. You can even just browse to it here. And since I set the CS up so that the Darkside folder is correct, you have to either find Darkside over here, which is your local, or up here, which is another part of local, and drag it over to public HTML. This right-hand side is the remote site, which is the web server. This left-hand side is local site, which is your laptop or the PTC desktop. I'm going to drag Darkside to public HTML. I'm going to let go. And you can see all sorts of responses up here. It's also yelling at us down below. You'll know when it's done because that happens. Public HTML is where Apache looks for user HTML folders. It's a default setting of Apache. You do have to configure in Apache, but once you turn on user folders, that's where it looks. And I've now created a Darkside folder, as you should have a Darkside folder as well. You can then test this by going back to a browser and go to your username /Darkside. Press enter, and you're now hosted. This will only host locally in PTC. If I try to access this outside of PTC, you can't visit this. But this is an active and working web host that allows you to practice hosting and publishing to a real web server. If you can post to PTCs, you can post anywhere. I'm going to prove that to you. At least I hope I'm going to prove it to you. My password might have expired. Here I'm running FileZilla locally. I'm going to minimize everything. And I have username for my real website. Okay, now here is my real website. This is my website. Okay? See the phrasing here? I'm going to change it. So I'm at leadcontrol.com. I'm going to change this. In FileZilla, I'm going to find my index file. I'm going to download it to my desktop. Download it to my desktop so I can easily find it. Minimize, and then I'll open it. Visual Studio Code. Open the file. Go to my desktop. Where's index? There it is. Okay, so here's my bootstrappy page. It says, I am welcome to my website. This is a site about my family. I'm going to change this to about me and my family. So you see I've changed it here locally. I go back to FileZilla. And I'm going to drag up the old index to here. So which is right here. You'll see the file date on it is today. My old file date on it was back in January. I drag this up. It yells at me. It says the file already exists. I'm going to overwrite it. It's uploaded. This is about my family. It's about me and my family. So the exact same process I went to host on PTC's website is the exact same process I go to host on my provider. I'm using, if you guys care, this is my web host. I think I spend $3 a month for web hosting. It's cheap. It's less than the price of dinner out if you want your own web page. And you now know how to publish a website anywhere in the world. You get your FTP username and password, which Ionis gives you. Set up your FileZilla clients, and go. It's a piece of cake. Okay, so that was it for this week's lesson. Lots of places for mistakes. Let me tell you the number one mistake. When you guys are trying to do this and you are on PTC, you have to remember to do all this FileZilla stuff for PTC on vDesk. You probably have noticed that I have my taskbar here on the left. There's two reasons for that. One is because it just makes sense. Secondly is I do spend so much time in the virtual world that by having my virtual start buttons go horizontally and my real start buttons and taskbars going vertically, I know which one I'm using. If I don't have this guy vertical, if I have it down here, I can't even move it because I got it locked, I end up with two start buttons on top of one another. It's really easy to get confused. So when you go to do this on your own, make sure you are logged in to vDesk, download FileZilla. Once you've downloaded FileZilla locally, you can get rid of the installer. Maybe. You can get rid of that Darkside file we downloaded. PTC doesn't give you a lot of disk space. You probably, when you got your list of supplies from PTC, you probably got a externally 1 gig or 2 or 1 terabyte or 2 terabyte hard drive. We assume you'll use that at school. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to stop the recording now.